Okay, here we go. So for those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Gretchen Nielsen, and I am the Senior Vice President of Sertoma. Any of us who have events are always looking for somebody to help us work those events through volunteering. We're going to talk today a little bit about what it means to volunteer and places where we can find the volunteers from, because as I know and you all know that our clubs here in the United States and in Canada have lots of different opportunities that we can use to make moments matter in our communities. So you've all heard this. You never get a second chance to make a great first impression. So what is the impression that people get when they look at your club? Is it inviting? Is it interesting? Does it draw people in and make them want to come and work with you? When thinking about inviting people to help out with your club's events, how can you entice them? Many people these days are looking for ways to give back in their communities. So what about your club makes them want to help? To start this, I want to look at why people choose to volunteer. In order to know how to add volunteers to our club's events, we really need to look at why people volunteer. People choose to volunteer for a variety of different reasons. For some, it offers them the chance to give something back to their community or to make a difference to the people around them. For others, it's oftentimes just an opportunity for them to, develop new skills or build on existing experience and knowledge. Regardless of why people are motivated, what unites them when they make that decision to be a volunteer is that they find it challenging and rewarding. So when you're looking for volunteers, you need to make certain that you have something that is not only going to reward them, but is also going to challenge them a little bit. If your volunteers are walking away from your event and they do not have a sense of, I did a great job, or wow, what a great organization at the end of it, then your club might want to take a step back and just kind of look at what it is that you're doing and how you can engage those volunteers a little bit more. Okay, so I've got a video. I hope this works. It does in my classroom. Gosh only knows right now. Here we go. Give it a second. Technology is great till it doesn't work. Okay, sorry, I just heard that my sound wasn't coming through. So I apologize. I will happily share that link for you guys to check it out. I think it's important when we start to look for volunteers that we know what the people around us are looking for. I think we're in a trying time right now because of the fact that we can't get together in large groups, but that doesn't mean that you still can't, as a club, start sort of looking at how can we get volunteers and where do we find volunteers? Because hopefully we're going to come out this on the other side and be stronger than we were before. Okay, so I put this up for you guys because there's just some great reasons why people volunteer. So I may not get through all of them, but I do want to get through some of these for you. The very first one is really important, and it's really been important in my club specifically. There are studies that say that volunteering actually relieves tension. So when we make the effort to help other people, it takes the focus off of the issues that we're dealing with in our own lives. My club does Meals on Wheels twice a month, and we take turns volunteering to deliver those Meals on Wheels. So at one of those times, our club president at the time and myself, just after COVID got started, we were delivering Meals on Wheels. When we went to pick up the meals, they gave us 10 care packages to give to specific people on our list. The care package included a 4-pack of toilet paper, some hand sanitizer, a box of Kleenex, and a little note that just said that this church group who had provided these care packages was praying for them. The very last house that we delivered our meal to, the lady received one of the care packages. And as we were walking away from the porch, because it's now no contact delivery, you set it on the porch, you knock on the door, you walk away. As we were walking away, she came out to get it. She picked up the care package and asked about it. We explained that a church group had donated them. And then she started to cry. And she started to cry because she said, I'm literally down to almost being out of toilet paper and I cannot leave my house. And this is a true blessing. So for me, and for many of us, I know that we all felt the pain of not being able to find toilet paper because for some reason, that's what people decided to hoard. But I could go to the store. I might have to go to 4 or 5 stores to find toilet paper, but I didn't have a problem finding it. I could still do that. But I could not imagine being stuck in my house and not being able to get out and to run out of things that are normal, essential to everyday life. Volunteering is a great perspective and a self-awareness. Sometimes we forget as individuals just how good we have things and that not everybody out there is as blessed as we are. Volunteering can help you get or stay healthy. We pick up trash. You do a lot of walking to do that. We put out flags. We do a lot of walking to do that. But I think for me, the healthy for volunteering is more of mental health. When I'm having a really bad day and I don't want to get up at 5:30 in the morning and drive over to put out flags, I do it anyway. But by the time I get there and get started with the process and seeing my Sertoma sisters and their husbands that are there to help us, you know, my mental health changes. I immediately forget that I'm tired or I'm cranky or I had a horrible day the day before because I'm around people who are very much like-minded like myself, and we are just having a good time helping out in our community. I just can't think of a better way in this trying time for us to help our mental health besides helping other people. Paying it forward, volunteering creates empowerment. It feels so good to be able to give back. Some of us may have been in the position in our lives where we needed somebody to reach out and to help us. It's a really hard thing to do, is to ask for help. That's one of the hardest things I think it is. I would rather ask for forgiveness sometimes, which is really hard for me, for those of you who know me. But I would rather ask for forgiveness than to sometimes have to admit to another person that I need help. We heard a lot of that in the spring for me. We had reached out to all of our students when we went into quarantine, and I had parents that would say, oh yeah, everything is fine, everything is fine. And then I would get a private message and they'd say, everything is not fine. You know, I'm using my rent money to pay for groceries because my kids are home longer than they were supposed to be. So I think that when we get that opportunity to volunteer, that empowers us. We're getting to give back. And when somebody tells us thank you because of something that we did, instead of saying, oh, it was nothing, that is taking away their blessing. So when you get that opportunity to volunteer, we're out in our communities, then I think what we need to do is say, you're very welcome and I'm so happy that I could help. Because they don't want to hear, oh, it was nothing. They want to know that you took the time to step out of your comfort zone and to do something that helps more than just yourself. Volunteering sets a good example for other people. I'm skipping down to number 9. Are you a talk the talk person, or are you a walk the walk person? It's really easy, and we've done it today. We do it in all of our club meetings, to sit around and talk about what's going on and address the needs that our communities have. And sometimes it could drop and just stay right there. So what is your club doing to moving from recognizing that need, that necessity in your community, to moving to doing something to help with that need or that necessity in your own community? So let's don't sit around and talk about what we can do. Let's get up and get out in our communities and get it done. It's a good way to bridge the gap. Right now, most of us who have been at home, probably using and utilizing social media, maybe more than we ever have before in our lives. We're using it as a way for us to connect to the world around us. We can get news and misinformation at the drop of a hat. Everything is now at our fingertips. We don't have to wait for Walter Cronkite or Barbara Walters to come on the news and tell us what's going on. It's there in front of our faces every day. So when we're talking about volunteering, sometimes we have to put ourselves in that other person's shoes. What is it that we can do to help them? Do we see both sides of the story? Can we understand where it needs to go? And are we capable of working with people from a variety of different backgrounds? Realizing that everybody needs help, not just certain people. Okay, let me see. Let's go to 12. There's a personal tie to the cause. If we have a connection between a volunteer position and our own lives, we can find it even more satisfying than simply just volunteering. Why would you choose to volunteer for an organization that you don't have a personal connection to? Some people might do that just because it's a lot of fun. I have had the pleasure of volunteering several times at different events in the Springfield, Missouri area. Those Sertomans really know how to give back to their community, and they make their volunteers feel like they are so important and that's so necessary for that cause. I will drive 7 hours. It's a 7-hour drive for me just to help them, to find ways. And then I come home to give back. And then I come home and I'm like, woohoo, I feel so good the whole way home. And these are not even people that I know. These are it's a random community that I got the opportunity to help out in. So what volunteers are doing nowadays, these people that want to give back, they're using technology. They're typing something into a Google search or a Bing search and looking for ways. If their issue is hearing health, man, I really and truly hope that when they put hearing health issues or hearing aids or cochlear implants in that search engine, that some Sertoma club somewhere is popping up on that front page. We can literally find something to do with a few simple keystrokes in a search engine. If you have something that you are truly passionate about, you can find ways to take that passion and turn it into something that makes not only you feel good, but helps you to give back in your community. But Gretchen, why should we care about why people volunteer? So I'm going to go back to number 8. We said meeting like-minded, motivated, positive people is super easy when you're out volunteering. So when we start to think about adding volunteers to our events, we should look for people that fit that description. Do they believe what we believe? Are they caring and hardworking and impressive individuals who will come, show up on time, do their absolute very best, and stay until they absolutely aren't needed anymore? That's how we get to match our volunteers to specific events. If you've got older members of your community who want to help, it may be doing something where they can sit with other older members of the community and stuff envelopes or put packets together for you. If they're young, let's get them out there running around and putting out flags or handing out information. Putting people into the right positions not only ensures that they're going to get something out of the experience, but it also adds to the fact that they're most likely going to come back and help out at that same event again, or even other events that we have going on. No one really wants to do something they don't have a connection to, or that they don't feel like they're getting anything in return. So if your club is not searching for these volunteers, making them feel important, and then doing the best thing you can do is say, thank you for everything you did for us. Are they going to come back? Are they going to want to work with you again? So you have to look for those volunteers who have a connection to what it is that you're doing. All right, so some places we can find some volunteers. I truly wish I had a perfect list of places that worked for everybody to find volunteers for your events. As we all know, each of our communities is different. We have different events that service different areas of our community, and we don't all have the same opportunities to get those volunteers. So sometimes we're going to have to get a little creative. Great options for finding volunteers for your events are local high schools or colleges. My club, like I've said in the past, has a flag program. It got to where we were putting out more flags than us little women could handle. We needed some muscle, some manpower. So I went to our local JROTC at the high school and said, hey, your cadets need PT hours and they need community service hours, and I have a great way that they can get both. Okay, so that helped me to find volunteers who have a connection to what we're doing. What better way than JROTC students helping us to put out the American flag 6 times a year? Other great options in your community might be Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. Those kids have energy, passion, and they really want to give back. They make a perfect opportunity for volunteers for some of your things. Try, if you have a college that's close to you that has fraternities and sororities, put them to good use. They need community service hours. Make what they get to do fun, and they will come back and they will ask over and over again. It got to the point where we were actually having to turn cadets away because they heard how much fun we were and they wanted to come help with the flag program. It got to where we had too many and we had to actually ask them to stop sending more cadets. That's a great problem to have. I want to also ask you, I want to put in a little plug for our Sertoma Members Corner. For those of you who are not there, haven't been there, please come join us. The Sertoma Members Corner is probably one of the best things that I have seen, and I've been in Sertoma for 11 years, so I'm not a long-time Sertoman, but to me, this is a great way that we can utilize social media and share what we have going on in our communities across the country and into Canada. It's a great way for us to connect. I know that we've done some of that during COVID because of the plain and simple fact that a lot of clubs were losing their opportunities for fundraisers. There was a post where people were sharing where you could do virtual fundraising. I think that if you have not found yourself to that place on Facebook, please do. That way, if you've got something that your club has done that's super successful and anybody could do it, share it there. Or if there's something that you're struggling with and your club really needs some help with, ask them. You've got hundreds and hundreds of resources in one place that can help you figure this out. So why not join other Sertomans Don't reinvent the wheel, and just look for things that you can do that will help with your club and in your community. Now what? So now you have great volunteers, and you've got them coming back to event after event. Is that all there is to this? We have volunteers, we're good. We don't need them. We don't need anything else. I don't know of any Sertoma club who would say, you know, we have enough members. We don't really need any more. But if we think about reason number 8 for why people volunteer, meeting like-minded, motivated, positive people, then we can answer that question, now what? You have given them a taste of what it means to not only be part of your club, but hopefully part of Sertoma as a whole. You've hooked them, and now it's time to reel them in. That first impression now comes to play. Not only do you want them to enjoy the volunteer experience, but you want them to see that your club fits into their idea of what giving back looks like. What does your club's first impression look like? Is it appealing to others? Does it make volunteers want to do more and eventually join your club? Or does it make people think they're not really sure what your club stands for and what they are doing? Okay, so that's what I got for you today. I am going to stop sharing my screen for you and open up and see if we have any questions or comments, see what kind of a conversation we have going on. I'm sorry, I gotta go right back up here to the part of all this. You can hear my my video, sorry, I apologize. Eddie D is Vice President of Membership. I have 6 points why someone would become a volunteer. Y'all can read that. I don't need to read it to you. Roger Spitz, are we talking about volunteers outside of our membership? Yes, Roger. I know very few Sertoma clubs that are big enough that they can handle some of their events or all of their events on their own. All Sertoma clubs are always probably looking for somebody that can help them help them work their events. And then if they have a great time, then they want to be part of your club. Okay, let's see. Somebody said yes, asking people to volunteer before they join is great. I kind of started that a little bit in our club. We tried to get people involved first because I want them to understand what kind of what we're about without paying money first. It might not be something that's for everybody. I mean, it's tricky. So yes, get people to come and volunteer at your event. Let them see what your club is about. Let them see what Sertoma does as a whole. Get them attracted to what you're doing, and then invite them to a volunteer again, and then wait. I know a lot of times we immediately jump to, hey, do you want to be a member of my club? But I think that sometimes what we really and truly need to do is let them see what we're doing, pause, wait, and then let them ask us, you know, I have so much fun being part of your events. What does it take to be a member of your club? And I think that that's what is going on. Cindy said they just did a golf tournament. Somebody asked, are clubs still having events at this time? I know for us here in North Texas, it's pretty limited because it's really strict on what we can do. We've had to cancel several of our smaller events. I think that, Richard Venda said Sertines, don't forget Sertines. Once you get those kids from the high school or the colleges interested in your club, if they're not old enough to be members of your club, then that gives you a complete opportunity to build a Sertine club. And then from there, just imagine, you know, what you can do when you add the energy and the passion of those Sir-Teens. If your club also struggles with nobody knows how to do technology, nobody knows how to run the Zoom meeting, nobody is there to put your club's information out on social media, find a young person. They'll happily help you. I mean, they love to do that. Get them involved by bringing them in to do something very specific. Does anybody have any other questions for me? Comments? Hello? Okay. I think that this is just something we're all going to be dealing with. I think right now it's really, really hard for us as service organizations to keep doing what we've always done because there is no normal. As a teacher who's about to step back into my classroom, that is going to look different from any classroom that I've ever seen in the last 14 years. I think we just have to learn how to talk to each other and kind of roll with the punches. And let's just see what we can do to make a difference. Please don't forget that Sertoma Board has this wonderful COVID relief for those of your clubs who have certainly been struggling with not having the events that you typically have. You know, just do what you got to do. There's options out there. Don't try to do it on your own. Reach out to us. Reach out to your community. I think you guys are going to just find a great opportunity to show people how amazing Sertomans are. And I will tell you this, there is not that I have ever seen a better group of people who are like-minded, who can come together and make things happen that we never, ever thought was going to happen. It gives me goosebumps sometimes when I see the things that not only my club's doing, but what your club is doing. So, you know, stay focused, stay trying, and you know, reach out. Let's help each other. Let's do this together. Let's continue to make the difference that we've been making in our community for over 100, in our communities for over 100 years. And let's take that and let it explode and become even more than it already is. Thank you guys so much.